This is Bryan of By George back here at Eagle Bank Arena, mid-court. Loving getting a W. Plenty to be positive about tonight. The game was actually a lot more out of hand than the final box score show. We won 78-63. Played 5 guys off the bench to close it out with JDS getting some minutes. And they were pressing us. They got a couple steals. Refs called some ticky-tack fouls all game long, so obviously that kept them in it a bit. But first off, have to talk about Jared Reuter. Came in 24 points. I mean, he just looked like a gazelle gliding through the key today. Made it look easy, split double team, shot over guys, had a couple running floaters that just, had me speechless. That's what we were seeing from the guy in the post-game presser. He admitted he was out of shape. And he looked it. We all thought it. We all saw it. And, I think he's kind of getting his legs back from under him. I talked to Paulson because, By George has been asking for the full court press for 3 years now, and finally we're running it. We saw presses in the corner, traps. We saw Jared out there on a guard at half court. I mean, just playing with a lot more intensity. So I asked DP in the presser because, hey, I always ask him. This is what he had to say.
Hey, Coach, how are you? In the last couple of years, I've been asking about the full court press. We're seeing more of it this year. I'm just kind of wondering why, what you see from your talent now that kind of gives you the opportunity to run it more.
Well, we've got a little more depth. I think that's a big. Last year we had 8 guys, so that was not going to be a recipe, for long-term success like that. So. If you're going to pressure the ball as hard as we want to pressure it, that's exhausting. So, I think Jamal Hartwell really, when Otis picked up the fouls, really gave a spark. It's also physically demanding. Like, if you look at, it's funny, I was looking at our game film with North Carolina Central from last year, and just looking at Justin's body last year compared to this year. Like, it was like, whoa, when you don't see somebody for a while. So we're a little bit more physical, a little more depth, so we can do that. We can do that more, and part of it was, our younger players, doing it in practice, but getting their, kind of their sea legs, if you will. So certainly was really, really instrumental in tonight.
Interesting stuff. I mean, I think it's pretty clear. We're a lot deeper now. We're a lot younger, easier to run that kind of stuff. So that's great. Another thing I really liked today was Otis kind of still making plays, not scoring, not having points is crazy. I think this was the only time in his career he hasn't scored, but he didn't turn the ball over. That's key. He had 7 assists. I think we only had 1 turnover as a team in the second half. So I asked Coach how could he get Otis going, get him scoring a bit, and this is what he had to say.
Tonight, Otis had 0 points. You said he affected the game in other ways. I'm wondering how you get him going a little bit. I noticed last couple of games you got him and Hartwell, and at the same time, I'm wondering if that's to try to get Otis off the ball a little bit. Wondering what you're seeing from him so far. It's kind of a shocking start here.
It is in some ways, but again, I thought he dominated the game without shooting the ball in the second half. Again, we chart, we compete a lot in practice. We chart everything. We stat everything. He's shooting 53% from 3 in live action, on 123. So it's a body of work. It's going to happen. It's going to come. His assist tonight, I think it was 7 assists, 0 turnovers. I mean, he's at a 3-to-1 ratio in practice. So, now tonight he got in foul trouble. Jamal got in foul trouble. And so, I think it's a situational game, depending on how a team's playing, depending on who's playing well for our team, that certainly can happen at times. A lot will depend on what the matchups are like in the half court, defensively, in terms of if there's really big guards or teams try, some teams will try to take advantage of that, some won't. So I think the thing with our team is, and this is last year's team, there were 8 guys, and everyone knew when they were going to play, and they knew exactly what the deal was. And now there's more guys, and some of the guys that, some of the guys are emerging, so, ideally we'll get to a point where we know exactly what we're going to get from every guy, but that may not happen for a while. And so I got to be comfortable with it, and these guys got to be comfortable that one game, it may be that you're playing well, but the other dude's playing even better, and you play 6 or 8 less minutes than you did the night before. And there's going to be a certain amount of that, I think, until we get to a certain level of consistency. So, but I like, and the thing I can say is, there's been a fun group to coach and practice. They've been working hard, and that's the best predictor of playing well in games and what you do in practice. And we have a more competitive group. Like our quote unquote gold team is more competitive than they've ever been since we've been here.
Man, Kyer, he's just Mr. Consistent. Today he hit some threes. That's huge for his game, because if he's hitting threes, all of a sudden he's pulling the defense out, and he's already showed the ability to get to the bucket. So now he can beat his man, get easy layups. He was in the presser as well. So good overall day for him. Finished with 12 points. And me and him have an interesting relationship. I've had him on the podcast a couple times. He explained to me, it's funny. They judge people's ratios. What that means is, what you're wearing, your style. Sometimes he tells me my ratio is on fire. Sometimes he tells me I look like a dad. So I had to ask him. He's always got the best fit on. How's he choose his shoes before every game? Just having a little fun with the guy. This is what he had to say.
For sure.
Talk to me a little bit. We always joke about, what you're rocking, what I'm rocking. Sometimes you make fun. Sometimes you say I'm looking fresh.
Yeah.
How do you choose what shoes you wear for the game? I know you guys are getting fitted, multiple colors, multiple styles. How do you choose?
The guys kind of make fun of me. They say I got a small foot for the size I am, but we get team shoes, but I kind of like going my own way sometimes. I wear some of our team shoes, but, I got a lot of Hardens this year, different colors and kind of stuff like that. Not because I want to look different and, show everybody out, but I like to have variety in my shoes and stuff like that. So, as you see in the game, sometimes I'll wear the same shoe twice in a row, 3 times in a row. But this year I've kind of had a lot of variety. I've wore different color shoes, different color Hardens, and most of them are comfortable. So, I like looking a little different for me, not just trying to show everybody else out and stuff like that. But yeah,
what I like is you shooting threes and hitting them. So on behalf of the fans, we do want to apologize. Sometimes we get upset. We put a lot of work into it, just as you do,
cool, yeah.
and we'll always be here for you. Thank you.
For sure, appreciate you. See y'all.
Tough test ahead. We got Cincinnati, and then we have the winner of Baylor and Ole Miss. I mean, it's time to see who we are. If this doesn't get you excited, I don't know what does. We've been asking to schedule non-conference games against Power Fives, and here we are. And we have the depth. Yeah, a little bit of a slow start, but this is what you want. So definitely be tuning in on ESPN+. This has been Bryan. This is Bryan of By George. Had a lot of fun tonight. It's kind of the game we've been expecting to watch. It's kind of easy closeout game. Make your shots. Play good defense. I thought we did that. So stay tuned. Your boys at By George will be back.